JLR investigates. This is a B&T VP9, also known as a vet gun. We're talking about the assassination in New York City of Brian Thompson, CEO of Unitedhealthcare. He was assassinated by what authorities say, this guy right here. This guy right here. You saw the images. You saw the face. They are looking for this guy. And according to Mayor Adams at this time, the New York City mayor, they know who this suspect is. They have identified him. But there was assassination right outside the Hilton Hotel. And you've seen these images out there. We've been covering this case extensively on JLR Investigates. The assassin's weapon. Was it a B&T VP9, also known as a vet gun? Well, that seems like this is the gun authorities think the assassin used. There is many news reports out saying that authorities are probing the possibility that the shooter used a vet gun? A vet gun to commit this crime? Does this look like a vet gun to euthanize animals? It's out there. The information's out there. The New York Post and CNN are talking about it. Let me share what they're saying about this gun and this possibly being the murder weapon. Check it out.
The breaking news, we've got new details about the gun used by the suspected shooter. Police revealing just moments ago that they are looking into the possibility, as you look here, that the assassin used, right there, let's pause it, that gun in his hand as a veterinarian gun. That's a larger firearm. It's used on farms and ranches. Police are also revealing they're talking to Brian Thompson's family as well as people he worked with and local law enforcement in Minnesota. They're saying so far they don't have any indications that the killing had anything to do with his personal life. Back with me now, the former Boston Police Commissioner Ed Davis and former NYPD Detective David Sarney. Okay, obviously, this is at this point moving very quickly here on this Friday night. Ed, can I just start with you? This gun, and we were freeze framing it there. We've heard about it, that there were a couple of jams, right, that might have had to do with the silencer so far, but now this new reporting, a larger sort of rifle used to put down animals on farms. What would that actually reveal about this killer that he would have had such a gun?
Hi, Aaron. There certainly have been a number of theories as to why that gun had to be cocked so many times. And frankly, this is a valid explanation for it. If this is a specialized weapon that's used on a farm, it wouldn't need to be automatically able to fire after each round. It would be something that you could do a single shot with. And it appears as though that's what's happening here. Now, that would lead one to believe that there may be some nexus to rural areas of the country, and this is either someone who's been aggrieved by the insurance company or maybe even an activist that is making a statement about business.
Right. So, David, this is obviously new information, but can I just ask you your instinct on how hard it would be to obtain something like this? And I guess to state the obvious, I don't want to say a normal person because we're not talking about a normal person, but it isn't obviously the first, second, or even third, or even 15th kind of thing you'd think of in terms of a gun, right? It is very specific, right?
Definitely very specific, and accessibility always deals with firearms. And that's why when this video came out, everybody was already making perceptions. And the benefit of this is when you start researching this and start doing the work, you find out more nuances about this firearm. We thought it was jammed, as former commissioner said. This is an unusual type of firearm to bring, but it comes back to accessibility. Someone had access to this. Did the shooter have it? Did he obtain access from someone else? Did he steal the gun from a location? And there is some slight of proficiency in utilizing the firearm. So is he the one that owned that gun? Because that gun is, usually when it comes to firearms, the gun usually floats from place to place, person to person. Usually when it comes to an illegal firearm, this may be something that he possessed or he obtained possession of it from someone else.
John, obviously a lot of new developments today. The idea, first of all, on this gun is interesting. The idea that it could be a veterinary or a gun that veterinarians use.
Yeah, what Chief Kenny is talking about is after this assassination, the NYPD went to its firearms experts and said, what is this gun with this enormous silencer? And they examined it closely. It's a blurry shot, but they also looked at the way he was manipulating the weapon. And they said, that looks like the B&T VP9. Now, as you see, it has this large extended silencer that is screwed onto a threaded, rather short barrel. But the way the gun works is you fire it with that trigger, and then it doesn't automatically load the next round. You have to pull back on the rear of that slide and then let it go to eject one round and feed the next in. If we look at that videotape taken during the actual shooting, you see him fire the gun, he's pulling back, firing the gun.
So it's not necessarily that it jammed, per se.
Right, so that's the question. And here's the investigative conundrum, which is he's manipulating that gun that appears to be this, kind of assassin's weapon. But they also found shell casings on the ground, but they also found live rounds. So the question is, was he familiar enough with the working of the weapon?
Right.
Did he?
It does look like in the second, there's, if we re-rack it, he fires, he does it, he fires, he like there, and then he fires, and then he seems to tap it 2 or 3 times.
Right. So either he's undergoing a malfunction because he doesn't know how that weapon works, or, it's a blurry shot. It may be another weapon, even a ghost gun with a large suppressor or silencer.
Scott, what do you make
on the end?
Like you mentioned, either there was a malfunction where he was doing the drill tap rack ready to cycle another round in there, or he got overzealous and he cycled 2 rounds there instead of just pulling it back and letting 1 round cycle into the chamber.
But there's a weird cultural thing here. You wouldn't be committing a professional murder with a veterinary's gun, but this gun is based on the design of something called the well rod. And even going back to the British and the Allied forces in World War II in the 1940s, the well rod was the assassin's weapon. It when you fire it with that suppressor, you get a sound like a book hitting a table in a library.
And the idea
quiet.
of why a vet would have that is so that it doesn't disturb, other animals.
Exactly. It's practically silent. It's a significant round. It's a 9mm round, and it's meant for close-up killing. It's meant for vets to kill an animal by shooting it in the head or somewhere, that's going to be fatal. But it would work the exact same way on humans very effectively and extraordinarily quietly.
So do you believe CNN and the New York Post when it comes to this being a B&T VP9 as the murder weapon? They explained how the shooter would shoot the gun. It's quite interesting, folks. It's quite interesting. Now, at this time, folks, they have not found the murder weapon. Though today, there's reports that they were searching ponds in Central Park, pretty close to where the backpack was found. At Rumsey, remember Rumsey, the merry-go-round area, the amphitheater type area there. They found his backpack, and they're searching the ponds around there. Do you think the shooter got rid of the murder weapon inside Central Park? Because the murder weapon will be a key here. You get the murder weapon, you build the case. They found so much other evidence against this guy, right? Not only did they post this guy's face out there, but we're talking about water bottles. We're talking about phone left behind. We're talking about a smudged fingerprint left behind. We're talking about a wrapper, energy bar wrapper left behind. We're talking about identifying marks on bullets left behind. We're talking about a New Jersey ID left behind. We're talking about Greyhound buses the suspect might have came in on and escaped with. So they have a treasure trove of information and evidence against this guy, but they didn't find the murder weapon yet. What is the murder weapon in this crime? We are covering this case extensively. JLR Investigate. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button. Never heard of a B&T VP9 prior to this report that you just saw by media outlets talking about. Never heard of it. Think you could kill somebody with one? Apparently you can if that's the gun. Let me know what you think. We will talk soon. Stay tuned.